Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the 584th episode of Travel Itch Radio. I'm Roger Noriega, filling in for host Dan Schlossberg, who is off covering baseball spring training. And we're in our 14th season here on Travel Itch Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair. Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Itch Radio. Today, our guest is Lisa Mayo, President and CEO of Tuolumne County, California, home of Yosemite National Park, and much more. Welcome, Lisa, to Travel Itch Radio.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you with us again. This is cool. So this is our second time around. Actually, have you been on prior to that other episode? Is this like your third, fourth, eighth trip?
This is my second, but I look forward to many more.
Excellent. I look forward to that as well. California is a lot more than Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco. You bet. In fact, it is the home of the Inland Empire, where I live. And beautiful, notice, where I live is separated from beautiful Yosemite National Park, which we'll discuss tonight. Lisa, in your own words, if you met a stranger on a plane who was considering coming to California, how would you convince him or her to include Tuolumne County?
Well, I would say that Tuolumne County is one of those extremely special places where you can come up here, you can go golfing, you can go skiing, you can do those in the same day often. It's kind of, in a sense, I don't want to say it's a hidden gem because then I'm not doing my job if I'm saying that, but we do like to say that we're one destination with three vacations. We are home to the gold country. So California's gold rush, there's a lot of that history here. We also are home to over half of Yosemite National Park. And then the Sierra Nevada mountain range runs to the east side of our county. And that's all a big part of it as well. So there's so much to do here year round. And it's one of, I would say, California's more affordable places to visit, with just a huge range of places to stay and different types of accommodations.
Thank you for that, Lisa. I do want to welcome everyone who's watching this program live. Feel free. Let us know who you are, where you hail from. Place a comment in the chat room and we'll give you a shout out on air. Thank you. This is a special time to visit with Tuolumne County, celebrating its 175th anniversary and special events planned for the entire year. Would you please share a bit of the historic background, starting with the county's pivotal role in the California Gold Rush?
Sure thing. Well, gold was first discovered here in 1848. And in what is now Woods Creek. It was discovered by James Woods, so hence Woods Creek. And that's an area that people still come here and search for gold. That gold discovery in 1849 was part of what set off the gold rush, and all of the folks heading west to check out what riches they could find in the area as well. Gold was discovered throughout Tuolumne County, also in Big Oak Flat, and folks who have been on Highway 120 heading to Yosemite have driven right by Big Oak Flat. And I think there's a couple really fun things about the gold rush, and the year 1849, which we celebrate as really the gold rush. So Highway 49 was named after that, and that is 320 miles. See, you're doing exactly what a lot of people do when I say that, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So 320 miles of Highway 49 dotted with these quaint gold rush towns, you know. And another kind of fun note for the sports enthusiasts out there, maybe you're not a San Francisco 49er fan, maybe you are, but the 49ers are also named after the miners of 1849. So a little bit of trivia there for you.
That works. I appreciate that. That's good. Let me ask, and hopefully I didn't interrupt you on that answer.
You're good.
What are some of the special anniversary events and parties that are planned?
I'm not sure about parties necessarily just yet, but definitely there are some festivities, and what will be happening is a lot of these are still kind of in development. As some of our larger events, like we have the 49er Festival up in Groveland, we have the Motherlode Roundup Parade and Rodeo, we have Art Week. So all of those like big events are intertwining the 175th anniversary of Tuolumne County. So one of the things that we're doing at Visit Tuolumne County is we are going to be creating a digital trail that you can follow, and it will be highlighting different points of history throughout the county, a lot of things that relate back 175 years, but things that happened between now and then too.
That is cool. I imagine that's going to appeal to the younger audience, being that it's digital.
I think so, yes.
That is a cool idea.
Yeah.
I understand the county is known for natural landscapes, especially the Tuolumne River area and Stanislaus National Forest, not to mention Yosemite. Are tourism and outdoor recreation the major reasons out-of-towners come to the area?
Yeah, those are huge reasons for them to come here. We really have the best of 4 seasons in our area. And if you want to go into, Yosemite, a lot of people are, what time of year is the best? It's anytime. It's a wonderful park to visit, whether it's the winter and you've got a light touch of snow, in the valley or the surrounding mountains. In the spring, of course, you're going to have thundering waterfalls. And summertime is great in Yosemite. I would highly recommend like dispersing to other areas of the park. We can talk about that in a little bit, but it's wonderful. And then heading up to the High Sierra, you're going to have your fall colors. They'll start in about September or so. Sometimes we have it seemed like this last year was a really long fall color season. Just heading up into the High Sierra and Highway 108, and so much to do. The year-round recreation is just prevalent. We have a lot of fishing, hiking, biking, horseback riding. Horseback riding seems to be growing in the area. Rock climbing. We have lakes. We have rivers, and we go in elevation from near sea level to over 10,000 feet. So it's a huge diversity of offerings, and that's why we have, we can have that year-round recreation.
At least I didn't know that. I knew there was, but not that much. Wow, yeah. That's crazy. I didn't. Wow, I have to study my geography a bit more. You mentioned year-round population, so I have to ask, how big is the county? And what are the peak and bargain seasons for visitors?
So our county is about 2,274 square miles, which equates to 1.4 million acres. So it's a fairly large county, and 77% of the county is public lands. So again, going back to recreation and Yosemite, we're covered with the Stanislaus National Forest and several different areas that are like some of the lakes that are the public lands. So the population in 2023 was about 54,200. It gets to be a lot more in the summertime, especially. But that's been a very steady number for us, really, for many, many years.
That's good to know. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to answer the second part of your question, and I'm sorry. No, I sort of left the pause there, so that's all me. Just the peak season would be summer, as I mentioned. And when you say bargain seasons, I'm thinking deals,
yes,
affordability. That's gonna be your winter time often. If it's depending on how the snow situation is, and all that. Midweek is always a great time to come here. I think even in summer. Midweek, we can always find a place for people to stay. We have so many hotel rooms and other kinds of lodging, short-term rentals. So I would say you can pretty much find a good deal anytime.
That's good to know. For everyone in the audience, if you have a question, comment, please fire it off in the chat room. And once again, let us know who you are and where you hail from. We are talking Tuolumne County with President and CEO Lisa Mayo. Would you tell us about two major state parks, Columbia State Historic Park and Railtown 1897 State Historic Park? Yeah, rumor has it we like trains on this program.
Oh, very cool. Well, I have got the place for you. we do have two incredible state parks. I'll start with Columbia. Columbia, it's also known as the gem of the Southern Mines. So again, bringing in that gold theme. It became a town in the 1850s, and of course, following a gold discovery there. And then in 1945, it actually became a state park to preserve the town. And so today, when you go there, you'll find a great little working historic town where the streets are closed to traffic except for the stagecoach and people walking. And so it's very well preserved. You can see live theater there. You can watch a blacksmith at work. You can see candles and soap being made. You can have a pickle pizza in a historic saloon. I mean, there's all kinds of great activities that go on in that town, and lots of shops. There's a little mercantile. There's a bookseller store. One fun thing about, well, there's a lot of fun things about Columbia, but just another little tidbit. This kind of goes back to the 49 highway thing. The first Cinco de Mayo ever was celebrated in Columbia State Park in 1862 when news of the Mexican army overtaking the French army in the Battle of Puebla was announced, and word got back to the miners, which were predominantly Mexican, and they did this massive celebration. And so it's been really neat because that celebration has been revitalized in the last couple of years. And I think we're in our fourth year of having a Cinco de Mayo celebration in Columbia State Historic Park. So that's a lot of fun. Columbia is also where a lot of filming has been done. And Little House on the Prairie, which is, I don't even want to say it, it's my favorite show as a kid, but it's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So you're welcome. And it was great because as a kid, I love to talk about when I got to meet Michael Landon down on one of the corners when they were filming, and he came right over and was just the nicest guy, and him and Dean Butler. And anyway, there's some celebrations that are going to be happening along those lines coming up this year and next year, where they're going to be bringing some of the cast back to the area. So that'll be exciting. And then we have Railtown 1897 State Historic Park, and talk about your movie history and all that. We have there a movie star that lives there, and it's the Sierra Number 3 steam engine. And that train has been in so many Westerns, beer commercials. It's been in so many movies, and most recently and probably most popular these days would be Back to the Future 3. So another one celebrating a big anniversary this year too is Back to the Future 3. But
by the way,
yes. I know, I'm right there with you. Railtown is really great. It has a working roundhouse still, so you can see how that worked back in the day. You can get a tour of the roundhouse. There are some docents there that are just so passionate, and they will happily spend 5 hours with you if you want. Most people are, want to get on to the next thing. But and the train history here is it's so important. It was part of our economy, and it really, the way I read it, was really what kicked off tourism to the area as well, by being able to bring visitors up from the San Francisco area. So that's a pretty cool thing to have here in our backyard, and that's preserved. And you can still go out on the train. They have excursion rides. So it's a lot of fun.
I myself hope to go there, and I thought that's where they had the Back to the Future train, but it has been involved in many things. May I ask you a technical question about Tuolumne County? Because I've been on, and I apologize, it's a geography question. I've been driving on the 5 and the 99 to the west. Does Tuolumne County cross the mountains to 395, or is it on the west side?
It's on the west side. So really it's Sonora Pass and Tioga Pass are the ways you would get over to 395. But when you get up to Sonora Pass, you're pretty much at the tip top, and then you wind down into onto 395 into Mono County.
I know where that is.
And
Okay.
it's magnificent. It's an incredible drive. We call it the Epic High Sierra Loop, like taking that 108 and then going down 395 and coming into Yosemite via Tioga Pass. And then coming back into Sonora and Tuolumne County. It's pretty awesome.
On a follow-up, is there particular times when it would be a no-go to take that route, maybe during
Yes.
the winter? Yeah.
Great question. Like right now, it is closed. You can't do it right now. Even though we haven't had as much snow as we normally get, there's always the anticipation that those storms are going to come in. But yeah, so in the winter time, usually they try to have the pass open by Memorial Day. And sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's later. It just depends on the weather. It's always a great thing. Everybody wants to kind of gun to be the first one over the top, which is really kind of a fun little unofficial competition that we have here. So
that is cool to know. I had no idea. I can imagine. I would probably be one of them trying myself. Since we've mentioned Yosemite, is the park open all year, even though some of its roads are closed by snow in the winter?
Yes. I know, and it can be confusing, but yes, the park is open all year, barring any, temporary closures due to rock slides or things like that. But Tioga Pass, the one we were just talking about that takes you from Yosemite over to 395, that one is closed right now as well as one of the winter closures. And again, they open that as quickly as they can too, because it's such a key route for people, not just for visitors, but residents coming over, from the other side, Mono County. We have a Mono Way here, so lots of Mono going around. But yeah, but you can, like I said, you can visit Yosemite year round, and any time of year is wonderful.
And speaking of that, because the snow melt energizes, I imagine, Yosemite's many waterfalls, is spring the best time to see the park, especially for photographers? Or is it just just show up?
Yeah, I think, I think spring is great. You're not going to have as many crowds like early spring. And so, and yeah, for photographers that want to capture those waterfalls, they are usually very plentiful at that time. And then, going into, I wanted to mention just some other areas of the park too, where there's some great waterfalls, less crowded. This is kind of like an insider secret, so don't tell anyone. But there's a part of Yosemite National Park that is equally as beautiful as the valley floor, and it's called Hetch Hetchy. And that is an area where it's actually the water supply for San Francisco.
Yes.
But it is part of Yosemite National Park, and you can go there and you can cross the dam. And when you're on the dam, you can read all about the history of how this dam was built, how the supplies got there, why it was built, who was the architect, all these incredible things. But then you look up and there's these incredible waterfalls, and you can take a hike. You go through there's a tunnel that you walk through, and then you can take a hike out to La Palma Falls, which is incredible. There's San Antonio Falls out there. You can take a day hike. You can go overnight, go back into the wilderness from there. It's a really incredible part of Yosemite National Park that not a lot of people take the time to visit, but is well worth it.
I appreciate that. That is absolutely awesome. It's good to know. If we may, I know we've spoken a little bit, but maybe we can talk a little bit more history. The park was first protected way back in 1864, before the Civil War was over. And I know we talked about it, and it's big too. Something like 1,200 square miles, right?
Yes. And that's a great point to bring up, is how huge the park is. I think lately we've kind of heard a lot about the overcrowding and over tourism, and that happens in the summertime. And it's important. I mean, when you look back at in 1964 is when it was first protected, and we're still protecting that park. Today is incredible, and we need to keep doing that. But we also know that it belongs to the people, and we want people to have access to the park. And what we are trying to do, along with our Visitor Bureau friends in the gateways to Yosemite, is really trying to talk to people. Well, like I was just talking about Hetch Hetchy. Yes. What a great place to go. Rather than everyone going to the valley floor, like that's the first place everyone wants to go. We are trying to encourage people to disperse to other areas of the park and then go to the valley floor later in the afternoon when there's not as much crowds there. And that way we're not having to close the park down. I don't want to say close the park down, but we're not having to limit people because they're coming to one area and it's concentrated there. We're saying, let's take those people that are concentrated there and spread them out all over the 1,200 square miles.
I had no idea it was that large, but your answer leads us into my next question. Obviously, Yosemite is known for waterfalls, valleys, meadows, a vast wilderness area, and of course, giant sequoias, which I didn't realize, or the redwood trees. So how long should a visitor plan to stay, and what can he or she do in the park? Because we hear biking, hiking, and camping are among the most popular pursuits.
Yeah, those are among the most popular things to do. Once people are in Yosemite, they can also ride a free shuttle that takes them around. There's also various tours that you can do. My family and I did a Glacier Point tour where we hopped on a bus, had a guided tour, of Glacier Point, which is absolutely incredible. But the whole way, there was someone on board, a tour guide, telling us all about what we were going to be seeing, what we were seeing all the way there, and that was really neat. We do have several groves of giant sequoias. They're amazing, and I am super excited to tell you that one of the coolest trees is in Tuolumne County in the Tuolumne Grove part of Yosemite National Park. And the Tuolumne Grove is it's a beautiful little grove of these trees. And we have the one that often people see a photo of that you can walk through. It's actually cut out, so you can walk through the giant sequoia. And a lot of people, it's a very Insta-worthy spot, if you will, where a lot of photos get taken. But that's in the Tuolumne Grove of giant sequoias.
Wow, that is absolutely great to know. Now, we've gone natural on a lot of these questions, but what kind of wildlife thrives in Yosemite?
Well, it's fun. I've seen my fair share of wildlife in Yosemite, and it's pretty awesome. So bears are a big thing that you might see in Yosemite, and most people expect to see that. Sometimes we get asked when they come out, so they know what time to go to the park. But they're out at different times, and with that, there's a lot of messaging about driving slow, and because the bears will just wander onto the roads, and so there's some good messaging just about taking it slow, and you should anyway. You're in a beautiful national park. What are you in a rush for, right?
Yes.
But I digress here. So squirrels, of course, deer. There's coyote. I've seen bobcats there. One of my coworkers, our marketing manager, she used to work in the park and was an interpreter, and bats were her thing. So lots of bats in the park. So that's kind of fun to see those. So yeah, lots of great wildlife.
I would not have thought bats. Go figure. Yeah. That is cool. That's good to know. What's new in the area of accommodations? I understand glamping is coming to Tuolumne County in a big way.
It is. We are so excited to announce that in May of this year, 2025, that Under Canvas will be having its first California location here in Tuolumne County. And if you haven't heard of Under Canvas, they are an incredible company that sets up these glamping resorts. So they're canvas tents, but far more than that. It's almost luxury.
Yep.
But they set them up just outside of national parks. And so we're really excited that they chose our area to have their first California location. Um, they are a dark sky company, like where they have their business. You're I don't want to say guaranteed because that may not be the right word, but they put them in dark sky areas. So you're not going to have light pollution. You're going to be able to see the stars at night, of course, if there's no clouds and things like that. But you might even see just a meteor shower or whatever. So they work around that and plan recreation programs around that. It's one of those places where you're not going to have your internet. You're going to be disconnected, but it's an opportunity to reconnect, if you know what I mean, with your family, with your friends. So it's pretty exciting that they're coming to our area.
That's good to know. But you did say outside of the park, are they
Yes.
not allowed? And not trying to berate that, but they can't be in the park then, right?
Right. They're not in the park. I'm sure that there's limits on how much lodging inside of the park and all that. But they are just a stone's throw from the entry gate, and they'll have recreation programs and things to take people in. We have another new resort too, Firefall Ranch, and that just opened this last year. And they have 55 villas or cabins spread over 300 acres. And they are probably about 10 miles from the entrance to Yosemite. But it's an incredible property where they encourage you to, bring your kids. They have a miniature golf, not a cheesy one, but a really cool one, like super outdoorsy and mountainy and all that. So they have that there for kids, lots of games, a huge pool. They're going to start horseback riding there at the ranch. I believe in March, they'll start taking reservations for that. You can bring your dog. A lot of times with these new resorts, you can't bring animals, but so many people travel with their pets, and this is a higher end place where you can absolutely bring your dog with you. So that's a very cool new resort in our area. And then we also have Chicken Ranch Casino Resort, and this resort is located in Jamestown. Jamestown's kind of the entryway to the county, and you can at Chicken Ranch you can either go right and head to Yosemite, or you can stay straight and head up to Sonora, Columbia, Jamestown, all the small towns we were just talking about. The casino is incredible. It's all non-smoking, which is really unique for a casino. They have views into Yosemite. You can see some of the Yosemite, called the Yosemite Alps. I'm sure that it's actually the Clark Range in Yosemite. You can see from there. They have floor to ceiling windows, and the windows kind of change their tint depending on what time of day, so you can continually see out. And again, it's something most casinos don't have. And they just added a kids arcade and all kinds of fun things. So we have a lot of really fun new product here to talk about. So it's a great time to come visit Tuolumne County.
Sounds like it. That's awesome. This is Travelage Radio with Roger Noriega and usually Dan Schlossberg, who's off this week. Rumor has it he's in Florida. We're in our 14th season and approaching our 600th episode. We're live at 5 New York time, 2 p.m. Pacific time, every Thursday on LinkedIn, YouTube, WhatsApp, X, Twitter, and Facebook, among other things. We are talking Tuolumne County with President and CEO Lisa Mayo. And I want to get in. We have the link at the bottom of the page, and even more so in blue, right there. I apologize. Winter visitors can not only go sightseeing in Yosemite, but skiing in Dodge Ridge Ski Resort. Would you please share about that?
Yeah. On Highway 108, which is the Sonora Pass Highway, we have some great winter activities up there. We have Dodge Ridge Mountain Resort, and it's a great ski mountain. It's where so many people learn to ski, but the mountain has actually expanded a lot. And it's a great one for folks coming like from the Bay Area. You're not going to be fighting that traffic to get to other areas like Tahoe. We love Tahoe, but it does get pretty jam packed at times. So we encourage people to come and check out Dodge Ridge. And just up the hill from Dodge Ridge is Leland Snow Play. And that's where you can rent tubes and you ride a little magic carpet to the top of the hill and you slide down on your tubes. So lots and lots of fun winter activities.
Wow.
We have ice skating in the area as well. So it's a great, great winter destination.
That's great. Now, we may have touched on this, so hopefully I'm not repeating, but I understand that Tuolumne County is also home to several lively gold country towns. Can you tell us about some of them?
Sure. Yeah. We have a lot of great towns. So we talked about Columbia already. We didn't talk a lot about Sonora. Sonora is the county seat for Tuolumne County. It's our largest. It's our largest town. It's where all of our government buildings are and that type of thing. It's where my office is, right downtown. But what's really cool is there's a lot of historic buildings in the downtown, a lot of Victorian homes that you can walk around and see. There's all kinds of activity. Every second Saturday is an art night where the stores stay open and people can peruse it. It's become so popular. You'll see all your neighbors down here and a lot of visitors. But it's a great little town, very lively. Jamestown is a cute little town. That's where Railtown 1897 State Park is. We have the Walk of Fame. So from downtown Jamestown, you can walk the Walk of Fame up to Railtown, and these plaques will show you some of the movies that were filmed here and give you a little bit of movie history along the way. So that's really fun. There's a great little cigar lounge downtown, some restaurants and a park and a museum. So all kinds of things in Jamestown. We have Twain Harte, which is a cute alpine town. It's more probably about the 3,500 foot elevation. So they're kind of at the snow line. Twain Harte was named after authors Bret Harte and Mark Twain. So they were friends and the two combined. So lots of bed and breakfast, vacation rentals in that area. Great little miniature golf place that is just family owned for forever. So unique and fun. So yeah, there's a lot to do. I know I'm missing some of our towns, but every town has great events throughout the year as well. We have outhouse races in Twain Harte. If you can imagine that, that's pretty exciting. And
Yes.
And a dog parade and all kinds of great things. Columbia at Christmas time and Sonora are both amazing. You'll feel like you step back in time. So it's pretty awesome.
A dog parade?
Yes. It's called Who Let the Dogs Out.
Oh, that's great. Oh, wow. So is it an all-day event, the dog parade? All kidding aside, seriously.
Yeah. They you bring the dogs out. They have a parade and then all kinds of vendors and things for, there might be some other activities like dog races and things like that. So like fun dog races, not but yeah, a lot of really creative and fun activities in this area.
That's cool. It obviously sounds like it. Now we're going to switch a little bit because obviously far from the bright lights of the city, you represent a rural destination. Would you please tell us about Lake Don Pedro, Pinecrest Lake, and New Melones reservoirs?
Sure. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we go from near sea level to over 10,000 feet in elevation. Wow. And so Lake Don Pedro and New Melones are some of our lower elevation lakes. A lot of great fishing on those lakes. In fact, this weekend there's a bass tournament going on at Lake Don Pedro as well. At the end of March, there's another large one going on there. They have houseboats. Both lakes have houseboats. Lots of, the marina has rentals, so you can go out and rent boats if you need to. There's camping. Lake Don Pedro has a really great camping system, and they, interestingly enough, in the last few years, just started allowing pets there, which was interesting. And that has really been very popular for them to have done that. So both are great, beautiful lakes. In the springtime, you're going to see a lot of wildflowers along those lake sides, and it's just so pretty. Pinecrest Lake is very popular for families. It's one of those multi-generational, iconic lakes with the little cabins around the lake, and there's camping there as well. It gets very, very busy in the summer. So again, one of those places that we encourage people to go there in the spring and in the fall when it's not quite as busy. You can rent paddle boats there and just hang out and go fishing. There's hiking around the lake. It's about a 4-mile loop and just beautiful. You can walk over. It has a little dam that you can walk across. So lots and lots of lakes in our area, high country, low country, mid country.
That is cool. How far ahead should prospective visitors to Yosemite and Tuolumne County book their trips?
Well, I'll say with Yosemite, we're still on hold as far as what is happening as far as a reservation system goes this year.
Mhm.
If there is a reservation system in place, then we would encourage people to book that right away. But if you can't get a reservation, there are options to get into Yosemite without having that. And that is through YARTS, the Yosemite Area Regional Transportation System, which picks up from a lot of the hotels. Did I get it right?
Yeah, I think you did. I'm sorry.
No, okay.
I was listening. I was spelling it. I'm so sorry.
But Yards picks up from a lot of our hotels. And that's a great way to get, you just pay for that, and then you don't pay for the park entry, and you're guaranteed to get in. And then many of the resorts that we were talking about earlier and others that are along just outside the park, they offer their own shuttles into the park as well. So that's good. As far as other areas of the county, I mean, really, we can find you a room anytime. I mean, camping gets pretty busy in the summer, but you have your short-term rentals. We have a lot of hotels, bed and breakfast. So when Tuolumne County is one of those places you can say, hey, let's go somewhere this weekend. And you can come here and you'll find a great place to stay.
It definitely sounds like it. And all the time that we've been talking right now, it's just absolutely incredible. And I imagine we could spend some more. And I'm going to ask that question. Is there anything we haven't asked that you would like to add?
I think we have covered so much territory. I know one of the things I wanted to emphasize a little bit was the events. And I do want to just go back to Columbia really quick and just talk about some of the events they do there, because when people go to those events, they are blown away that this kind of thing still exists in America or in the world, where we have a Las Posadas parade, the journey of Joseph and Mary, going, through the whole process and going to the inn and baby Jesus and all that. I mean, it happens right there in Columbia. They have a miners' Christmas where you can go and you can hang out with the old miners, and they'll make you some hot cocoa and tell stories. And there's an equestrian parade down there. I mean, so many cool, very cool events that are just very wholesome, I would say. And then Sonora has really taken on in the last few years. They started being a Christmas town. So there's a lot. I mean, Christmas is a wonderful time to come here. So many lights. I don't want to sound cheesy, but Hallmark movie type stuff is what we're talking. It's like people come here and they're like, wow, this is so amazing. And all the shopkeepers are out and everybody, is just having fun and celebrating the seasons. And so I just wanted to mention that again.
Lisa, it is nice when life imitates art or art imitates life. Yes. It doesn't hurt.
Yep.
And it's nice that there is a real place like that. Wow. This has been incredible. Our guest today on Travel Edge Radio has been Lisa Mayo, President and CEO of Tuolumne County. Thank you for being our guest this week.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
It was great having you back, and hopefully we'll have you back for a third time real soon.
I hope so.
With spring training exhibition baseball now in full swing, that's why Dan wasn't here. This is your chance to share the excitement with Dan's latest baseball biography, Home Run King, the remarkable record of Hank Aaron, featuring a foreword by Dusty Baker. This 265-page hardcover explores Aaron's contributions as a home run hitter on and off the field, as an athlete, as an advocate for civil rights. That's Home Run King, the remarkable record of Hank Aaron. Get it today on Amazon.com. And sadly, that's it for this edition of Travel Edge Radio. Speaking also for Dan Schlossberg, this is Roger Noriega saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time, join us next week when our guest will be Mike Hogan talking about Central Florida. Hope to see you next week. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Good evening and stay safe.